Good evening and welcome to Closing Arguments. I'm Ted Rollins in for Vinnie Politan. Tonight we begin with breaking news in the Murdaugh mystery saga that just keeps getting more complicated and more bizarre. Today, officials with the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division announced that they sought and received permission from the Satterfield family to exhume the remains of Alec Murdaugh's former housekeeper, Gloria Satterfield. Satterfield died in 2018 in one of the Murdaugh family homes from what was described as a trip and fall accident. Earlier this week, Murdaugh admitted in a confession of judgment filing that he owes the sons of his late housekeeper more than $4.3 million. Alec Murdaugh is accused of dozens of financial crimes as well as faking his own suicide for insurance money, and authorities are still investigating the murders of his wife and son, who were shot and killed in a different one of the family homes. It is a case that we have been following for months and months. Court TV legal correspondent has the background on this complicated case.
We do believe that Mr. Murdaugh is a danger. He's already, by the previous charges that he had, he's been a danger to himself, and a man who's a danger to himself is a danger to others.
Disgraced attorney Alec Murdaugh was ordered held without bond after being arrested and charged with stealing millions of dollars in insurance money from the family of his longtime housekeeper.
When a lawyer steals with a pen, it's just as bad as somebody who steals with a gun.
Gloria Satterfield died after allegedly tripping and falling over the family dogs at the Murdaugh, South Carolina home. Prosecutors say Murdaugh came up with an elaborate scheme to sue himself, then steal money from her wrongful death settlement. At the time of his arrest, Murdaugh was out on bond, facing charges that he tried to arrange his own death.
Hampton County 911, where's your emergency?
Yes, we're on Salcahatchee Road, and there is a man on the side of the road with blood all over him. He's waving his hands.
He just laying there waving his hands around?
Fine. He looks fine, but it kind of looks like a setup, so we didn't stop.
Oh, I don't blame you.
Prosecutors say it was a setup, that Murdaugh tried to get this man, Curtis Eddie Smith, to kill him, so that the Murdaugh's surviving son, Buster, could collect $10 million in life insurance. Murdaugh has been under a cloud of suspicion since his wife and another son, Paul, were found shot to death. His attorney admits his client may be guilty of financial wrongdoing, but insists Murdaugh had nothing to do with the deaths of his wife and son. He says Murdaugh called 911 after discovering their bodies in the family's hunting lodge.
I've been up to it now. It's bad.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, and are they breathing?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and you said it's your wife and your son?
My wife and my son.
For nearly a century, the Murdaugh name has embodied a legacy of power and justice in South Carolina's Low Country. Here in the small town of Hampton, it's virtually impossible to find someone who does not know of the prominent legal family. But recently, the name has become synonymous with tragedy. At the time of his death, 22-year-old Paul Murdaugh was awaiting trial, charged with 3 felony counts of boating under the influence for a 2019 crash that killed 19-year-old Mallory Beach. According to depositions taken in that case, Paul Murdaugh illegally purchased alcohol at Parker's convenience store using his older brother's ID. Surveillance video shows him leaving the gas station, towing his father's 17-foot boat. As he exits the store, you can see him raise his arms in a triumphant gesture to his friends. After attending an oyster roast, the 6 friends headed by boat to a bar in downtown Beaufort, South Carolina. And later, Murdaugh stumbles on the dock as he and his friends return to the boat around 1 a.m. Just over an hour later, the boat slammed into a bridge piling, and Connor Cook called 911.
What bridge is it? Paul, what bridge is this? Paul, what bridge?
911, where's your emergency? Hello? Police, fire, EMS. Hello?
We're in a boat crash on Archer Street. There's 6 of us and 1 is missing.
The body of Mallory Beach was found nearly a week later in a marsh about 5 miles from the crash scene. The charges against Paul Murdaugh were dropped after his death, but the investigation is ongoing.
And the case is ongoing and going and going. And today, another fascinating development in this. Let's bring in someone who can help us navigate the significance of this. Erica Morse is a private investigator in Chicago, Illinois. And Erica, what's your first take here? Gloria Satterfield, yes, it was clear that authorities thought that Alec Murdaugh used her death to basically make millions of dollars and not pay the kids, the family. But now this is a whole nother scenario, exhuming her body. What's your first instinct when you heard that news?
When I heard it, it almost kind of became simple. I mean, it's standard operating procedure. This was changed to a criminal investigation late last year. Everywhere Alex Murdaugh goes, there is death. This is the 4th death surrounding him, with 75 plus charges already on the table. And to go back and exhume a body is SOP when it was never done in the first place, when there was no autopsy conducted. You'll have to remember that Gloria Satterfield's death was wiped under the table, so to speak. It was kept very quiet. A thorough examination and autopsy was not done, and therefore it makes perfect sense to go back to the very beginning and ensure that they understand fully what cause of death was, and to make sure that nothing is missed in that process.
The family said she tripped over some dogs in the house and ended up perishing because of the result of those wounds sustained by falling down the stairs. If she were pushed down the stairs, if something else that corresponded to the basics of a staircase fall, which you'd think that's why they told the story in the first place, there'd be no way, would there, to differentiate between an accidental fall or something else?
I mean, I'm not a forensic expert, nor do I claim to be, but there are ways. You know, I see a lot of autopsy reports in my line of work, and there are ways to determine, based on things like velocity, just the way at which she fell, the rate at which she fell. Was she pushed? Was there extra energy there that made her go further? Or was it a slight trip and fall that just resulted in a large trauma or injury to the head? Again, not claiming to be a forensic person by any means, but I work with some really good ones. So there are ways for them to measure, to check the level of trauma. Are there abrasions? Are there signs of strangulation? Is there DNA under her nails? You know, again, forensic testing has expanded and gets better every day. So there are tests available now that were not available when Gloria died. And I would expect that South Carolina law enforcement would do that. And kudos to them for going back and taking this step, because that is how you get to the bottom of whether this is a foul play scenario or just a tragic accident.
South Carolina law enforcement agency said and warned, basically told people, this is not going to be a process that happens overnight. It is going to take some time to exhume this body, and then, to your point, go in and analyze it to look for any clues. The only other potential sort of clue that we have in terms of something that was happening at the time was the 911 call that was made by Mrs. Murdaugh. So this is after Gloria Satterfield supposedly falls down the stairs, trips over the family dogs, the story that the family gave law enforcement. And this is the call. We're going to play just a portion of it, and we'll get your opinion, Eric, if you hear anything there, analyzing the voice of this caller, which is Maggie Murdaugh, who's now dead, but at the time makes the call about Gloria's fall. Listen.
My housekeeper has fallen and her head is bleeding. I cannot get her up.
Okay, you said she's fallen. She's bleeding from the head?
Yes.
Okay. How old is she?
I'm not sure, like 58 maybe.
Do you know if she fell from standing or not?
No. No.
Where'd she fall from?
She fell going up the steps, up the brick steps.
Okay, so she outside or inside?
Outside.
Okay. How many steps is there?
8.
Okay, is she on the ground or is she up near the top?
She's on the ground. She's on the ground. She's on the ground.
Is she conscious?
No, not really.
Is she awake at all?
Yes.
Okay. Is she just not, like, responding appropriately, but she is awake?
Man, she's not responding.
Okay, I've already got them on the way. Me asking questions does not slow them down, ma'am. Knowing if she's conscious is one of the things that the medic needs to know if she's responding at all to you.
No.
Okay, so she's not responsive at all.
Well, I mean, she's mumbling.
Okay, so she is somewhat conscious.
Erica, what do you hear in that 911 call?
Almost a tad argumentative, which is kind of surprising. Just maybe irritated. I mean, sure, it was a difficult time, and we can never accurately gauge what someone's response in a crisis situation is going to be. And I do have to make that disclaimer here. However, I mean, certain things catch your attention. Who falls up the stairs? When she was describing that, the first thing I wondered, concrete stairs, carpeted stairs, what's the setup of the stairwell itself? I actually watched someone trip over a laundry basket many, many years ago and fall down 8 stairs, carpeted, and hit her head hard. But within a couple of minutes, you know, she kind of came to, a little groggy. A laceration, bleeding from the head. Was that a hard push? Was that a trip? We don't know yet. That's what the ME will find out. That's what things like, you know, toxicology maybe can help us understand. And then also, again, I would be looking for other abrasions, lacerations elsewhere on the body, signs of a struggle, any signs of strangulation, and, you know, you're just looking for in DNA under the fingernails. If they were taken or if samples were ever taken. We don't even know if we can get that.
Yeah, it's a fascinating development here. You don't hear a lot of empathy in that 911 call, or even...
No.
There seems to be a detachment there. But to your point,
yes,
911 calls there, you cannot say, oh, this person should be acting in a certain manner. Bottom line is the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division announcing today they are going to exhume the body of Gloria Satterfield as part of this ongoing investigation. And at the center of all of these investigations is one guy, Alec Murdaugh. Will continue to follow this case. Thank you, Erica Morse. Appreciate your insight, helping us navigate what exactly this means. And I guess what it means is be patient, because this is going to be a long investigation.